Welcome to the End Forest, to another Series 2 replay cast. This time we're going to be having a 4v4 sent in by the Fallschirmjäger that could, playing as the Soviets over here in the bottom left. And we're going to have his allies in a bit. We have, let's see, over here, Red Eye, also playing as Soviets. Then Guiza 101 playing as the British, and Apple Company also playing as the British. On the enemy team we're going to have They Call Me Trinity playing as OKW, Fresh Scent also as OKW, another OKW Turpentine 147, and lastly another OKW Bubun Hator, I guess. Yeah, pretty much we have the OKW party a little bit, and that's going to be interesting, as the End Forest is a map where OKW can definitely shine on both ends, thanks to, well, the turtling, and also the fact that Jagdtiger is good in this map, and also King Tigers are excellent on the left side of the map. As you can see, very much a close quarters area, excellent for the King Tiger to decimate allied infantry, and also Stukas. Now, we have already a doctrine selection, we have special operations being built, chosen by Fresh Scent. We're going to talk more about that later. We also have another special operations and a scavenge doctrine, so that is really good for our German players. Two special operations is an interesting choice. Now, we do have the first engagement between some infantry sections and Sturm Pioneers. The infantry sections cannot stand up to both Sturm Pioneer squads at once, even in the building, so they'll have to retreat. They will craftily jump out and get it, the back area, but they will have to be forced away by the Sturm Pioneers, and they might actually get wiped, and they will get wiped, so that is a bad loss for Guiza, who has gone for, what is this, tactical support? Yes, tactical support. And we also have Soviet Industry and Guard Motor Coordination. Now, Guard Motor Coordination is a good doctrine on this map because of the T-34-85 flanking maneuvers in the center are pretty good, but you have to be very careful with it because T-34-85s are very, very fragile tanks. And also the 120mm mortars are excellent. And Soviet Industry is really good because of the KV-2. KV-2 always amazing vehicle, if you can use it correctly and keep it alive, mostly. In the center, a bit of a OKW push, forcing away a bit of the British infantry, but, well, actually, there's no British infantry. The Brand Carrier taking a little bit of damage, but will be able to be repaired fairly soon. Now, some engineers and some conscripts getting up in the buildings and holding away the OKW units, but they will have to be retreated soon enough because these OKW troops in the central building and in the streets are dealing a lot of damage. They will be replaced by the second squad, so that will be quite good for the Soviet players. Now, Red Eye went tier 1 and a sniper, actually 2 snipers, so that is very interesting for him. Unfortunately, I don't think that is a very good idea for him because of the fact that in the left side of the map there is a lot of buildings and a lot of close quarters where the snipers aren't exactly the best unit. Now, these Storm Pioneers will be attempting to deal some damage to the snipers, but they will be likely sniped away, actually. They're just way too out in the open. We also have a Maxim machine gun from the Fallschirmjäger that could win for tier 1, so that is good coordination between Red Eye and Fallschirmjäger that could. At the same time, though, on the right side we have, who is this guy? Hater. Pushing up to the base of the allied players. Of course, on the right, extreme right, the victory point did go under the control of Apple Company, who is very defensively holding the line, along with a few infantry sections that he's got are going to be recapturing the right side points. Now, we have 3 universal carriers. Okay, so we have universal carrier spam from Guiza. I'm not really sure about that. You'll see how that works out. I don't think they'll work out too well, but still. I would really like to see a mortar out of Fallschirmjäger that could, to counter the building usage of the OKW players, and also just to put on some more pressure against the infantry. But we also have a nice Vickers machine gun being brought up without any sound, so sound bugs for the win. They're going to be suppressing all these German infantry squads. We do have a 1 battle group headquarters. We also have a mechanized regiment, another battle group, and a truck congregation. So we do have 2 tier 1s and 1 tier 2 for the OKW. That is usually to be expected to have more tier 1s and tier 2s. Of course, if the mechanized regiment headquarters is used correctly, it can pretty much turn the tide of this battle that is going in favor of the Allies. Right now, the Allies are starting to shoot ahead in terms of resource income and BPs. So the Germans definitely need to bring out the pain and get some early game shock units out in the field to regain some of that back control that we lost in the process. Now, we do have Apple Company is going to be forced back by the Volksgrenadier Horde of Bubin, and he's going to keep going and probably at least decap this point, the strategic point, and also push up against this fuel cache. Now, there's a fuel cache from Apple Company that is definitely a good idea. The Allies do need to get out the caches as early as possible, as is often the case in 4v4s. Now, we have a nice little cutoff maneuver from Fallschirmjäger that could. Only one strategic point is going to be cut off, but still a good enough investment. Now, one big thing is the fact that right now he's going to need to be retreating back, to avoid losing that squad. He's going to bring out an AT gun, which is definitely a good, safe choice, but also the mortar is coming next, so that is good for the Fallschirmjäger that could. We also have a demo charge from Red Eye, I believe. No? No, it's from Fallschirmjäger that could. So the demo charge will definitely be good in case the blob comes knocking. Now, we do have a 4th sniper on the way from Red Eye. This is definitely a mistake with the mass retreat. He should have retreated only this one damaged sniper and used the other 2 ones to keep run bitch, to keep firing at the German infantry squads. Would have definitely been able to probably wipe the trucked up Volksgrenadier that only had 2 members in it. Now, another trucked up Volksgrenadier going to be destroying this fuel cache. This is definitely bad. Apple Company over here should be using some of his units to protect his fuel caches, or else there will be a lot of wasted manpower. Now, this is not the way to protect fuel caches against Panzerschrecks. That will definitely result in the death and destruction of these Bren carriers. Only one going down, thankfully for Guiza, who also went for a Bofors gun emplacement. Now, in a pretty decent spot, but it's fairly vulnerable to support guns that position themselves up to about here. Of course, we do have one support gun from Fresh Scent, so he's gonna, and we do also have a second support gun from Fresh Scent. So yeah, the support guns will be the counter to the Bofors. Now we do also have the 2 Bren carriers. I still don't know what he's thinking with those. Now we do have a nice mortar barrage, hopefully on this building. But other than that, the front is starting to get in a little bit of a quiet mood. This is not too great for the Allies. They need to be continuing to push and getting out their early game advantage as soon as possible. Now, we do have a nice massing of an assault on the left side by, who's this guy? They call me Trinity. Using this other Volksgrenadier from Fresh Scent as bait. Looks like he will be attempting a big flank on the left side, but there is also a Maxim machine gun craftily placed in this other building, so yeah, that will be not too good. And oh, the Bofors is starting to take its toll on the Germans. Already 5 kills on the unsuspecting Volksgrenadiers, so that is really good for them. Now, we do have some Pioneers hiding out in the woods for some reason. They're going to actually plant a mine in a pretty good spot. Like you said, run bitch. So nice savagery over here by Red Eye. At least we have the trash talk going on. Was it me, baby? Yeah, well, whatever. So we do have the flank making its way. Ooh, the Maxim actually... Where is it? Oh, it got Stuka'd. Interesting. Excellent usage of the Stuka. Forcing it away. It looks like the Maxim was forced away to retreat. Yep, it's retreating. So, not killing it, but definitely bringing the turret on the ally positions and pretty much just opening the gate, opening the floodgates for the infantry swarm. Now, that was not the best demo charge ever. Should have definitely waited on that one. That was not too great of a demo charge. Because the demo charge is only really worth the 90 munitions if you wipe some squads. Now, we do have a pretty big push by Buban, but that is not a good idea with the Vickers and the Bofors ready to respond. Now, we do have a mortar pit coming out from him, which is going to be good countering the support guns, but it's in a bit of a open spot. If a Raketenwerfer just sneaks up to about here, it can easily destroy this emplacement. Now, you should also brace his Bofors as soon as possible. We do also have a T-70 out of the Fallschirmjäger that could. Now, Soviet Industry is definitely really good with the early game light armor. If he can get out the Allied supply drop, he will be able to upgrade to tier 4 as soon as possible. Now, he did take one Panzerschreck and he's gonna very boldly move up. Now, there's no Panzerfausts because of the 4 OKWs, and the main gun is going to be destroyed on a T-70, so the T-70 definitely needs to run away, and he uses self-repair, which is a waste of munitions because these 2 Panzerschrecks from Fresh Scent flank the T-70 fairly good play by the Germans and easily destroy it. Now, they should definitely salvage this wreck for some extra fuel. And as you can see, this mortar pit is in a very, very open spot, and the brace structure is going to save it for a little bit, but he's going to need to bring up his Brank carriers to attempt to save it, and the Brank carriers are also going to be in danger because of the Volksgrenadier Panzerschrecks, and yeah, he's going to be in a pretty big pickle over here. Guisa not thinking through with his defensive placement. Yeah, that's not best English, but still. Okay, so the Panzerschrecks are going to be forced away by the Vickers machine gun. Vet2, 13 kills. That is one good thing out of him. Now, we do have a bit of a flank over here by these Volksgrenadiers. They just have to throw an incendiary grenade and run away as soon as possible to avoid getting wiped. So the brace structure is going to be back off cooldown and saving it. On the left side, we do have a huge push by the Call Me Trinity, but it will be stopped by just one Maxim in the building. So really good usage of the Maxim. Now, this central building was actually completely leveled, and we do have, as you can see, a demo charge by Fallschirmjäger that could? No, that's Red Eye. Yep, Red Eye placing also some demo charges, so that is good. And, whoa, how did I do that? Somehow I clicked the hotkey for the increased speed. Now, Turpentine stealing the support guns is kind of interesting, but it's going to be good for the Germans. Getting the support guns back on track. Now, one of the Brank carriers was actually remanned, the one that was abandoned, so that is good. Lux is actually on the field from the Call Me Trinity, but he's not using it, so that is definitely a big mistake. He's got 4 Volksgrenadiers of Panzerschrecks, so he definitely shouldn't be fearing any kind of allied vehicles that could counter his Lux. We do have a Su-76 on the right side of the map, interestingly enough, by Red Eye. Red Eye almost losing one of his snipers to the huge Panzer Grenadier, or rather, Volksgrenadier blob, along with an Obersoldat with STGs from the Special Operations tree of Buban. He's going to be moving to the right side where Apple Company has hunkered down, but he's going to be easily able to flank this machine gun. Apple Company does have a huge amount of resources that he hasn't used. He does have tier 3, and he could be going for a Firefly or a Cromwell, or even upgrading for a Comet later. Now, we do have the T-70 attempting to destroy this Lux, and it will manage to succeed, but remember, the Lux is cheaper than the T-70. Now, T-70 actually runs away with its life, which is very lucky considering there was a Panzerschreck up out here, which could have definitely easily destroyed this T-70. Now, the Fallschirmjäger that could doesn't have tier 4, which is, in my opinion, a mistake. I do definitely like upgrading to tier 4 as Soviet Industry. Love demo. Do you love demo, though? I don't really see any demo that detonated. I'm sorry. Now, we do have another 17 Bofors gun emplacement that's going up since this one was destroyed, and we do have a push from the Germans attempting to stop it. We do have a flame grenade going down, and the Bofors is going to be completed, but it's going to be under heavy fire from both Panzerschrecks, support guns, and also, well, that's not both, but yeah, the flame incendiary grenade. And the Vet3 Vickers is going to wipe the veteran Volksgrenadier with Panzerschrecks, thus kind of paying back the death of the Bofors, but not exactly in a very good way. Now, we do have on the right side a counter push by Apple Company. His machine gun somehow survived and is back at base safely. And the OKW blob took a lot of losses. I have no idea how that is possible. Now, we do have a Panzer IV coming out from Buban, so that is good. Some early armor is going to be good. Now, we do have a second Stuka from... Who is that? They call me Trinity. And we do have the triple command structure from over here, Buban, which is going to be good for the King Tiger, but not exactly great for anything else for a while. Of course, the King Tiger is good because, well, the fact that they do need the late game heavy tank. Unfortunately, that demo charge not really making too much progress because of no wipes. Machine gun has been silenced from the Stuka over here. Excellent job with that from the Call Me Trinity. So far, he has been able to Ooh, nice wipe from the recharge. He's been able to use these Stukas a little bit successfully in taking on machine guns. We'll see if he continues to do that with later game infantry blobs from the Soviet players. Now we do have the sniper still around. Not really that many kills on the snipers. Ooh, a third Stuka from Fresh Scent. Don't really agree with the third Stuka that much. You don't need that much artillery, at least not yet. Now, almost taken out the forward assembly and the machine gun and the brand carrier, but not quite close enough. Now T-70 is Med 1, which means that it does have access to secure mode, which is excellent. But at the same time, this T-70 should definitely be very careful. Right now there's a lot of Shrek infantry on the left side of the map, ready to destroy it in pretty much half a second if it so chooses to die. Now Red Eye, I don't really agree with the sniper strategy. I'm sorry, it's just not working out. He doesn't have the kills required to make 4 snipers work. Now on the right side, the Panzer IV from Bubantor is meeting with pretty much no resistance except for a Firefly. The Firefly is also going to tulip rocket it and destroy it in a pretty much merciless ambush. So that was really good from Apple Company, losing most of his troops to the Panzer IV, but then destroying the Panzer IV in turn. So that was really good. Now, Red Eye will finally move his Su-76s to the left side where they are most needed, because on the right side the Panzer IV was destroyed. So the early threat of that German armor push on the right side is completely vanished. Now, Mortar is going to be forced away, but there's some machine guns over here that can stop the German infantry in its stead, along with a Zis gun to destroy any kind of German armor. Now, Stuka is still continuing to barrage the Allied troops that are making their maneuvers over here, but not really with too much success, which is a bit of a shame for the Germans, as they do definitely need those Stukas to pay off, just as the Allies need the snipers to pay off. I am, like, these snipers are just not working out, Red Eye. You should not have done that. There's no way that will work out in any kind of match, unless it's like a 1v1 where the opponent doesn't really make any effort to destroy the snipers. Now, nice flank by They Call Me Trinity, which is going to destroy both machine guns. One of them actually manages to retreat just by a hair. We do also have a bit of a push in the center with the Su-76s. They're going to barrage somewhere, probably against this support gun. On the left side, the Germans are still pushing up, and they will be doing some good damage to the Allied troops, but the Allies do definitely need to counterattack on the side, as they do have a huge VP lead because they were able to pretty much triple cap the Germans for these 15 minutes, but they do definitely need to push back, as the Germans now have the upper hand in terms of VPs and also in terms of resources, so they do need to bring out the pain for the Germans. Now, we do have a KB Flamethrower, which will definitely do just that against the German infantry. KB Flamethrower is definitely a good choice for the Fallschirmjäger that could, even though he does have Tier 4. Tier 4 could also spell the need for a Katyusha. A Katyusha would also be a really good choice for him after the KB Flamethrower. And then after the Katyusha, waiting for the KB2 Heavy Assault Tank. That's what I would do about now. And the KB Flamethrower is going to force away all these German infantry squads and probably at least wipe one of them if it can manage to push them far away enough. There's no AT on this side. That's where you face it. We have 3 Stukas from They Call Me Trinity. Oh god, I definitely disagree with that one. He could have gone for Tier 4 instead of these 2 Stukas and gotten out, at this point, a Panther or a Jagdpanzer, which would have been definitely more than enough to counter this KB Flamethrower, which is now rampaging through his allies, his infantry forces. These 2 squads are so close to death, it's not even funny. They should definitely be, actually switching to the main gun to finish them off. I'm not sure if that was a mistake or what, but that actually worked, finishing off another squad. So 2 squads going down, but we do have a huge push from the Germans in the center. Panther has destroyed all of the German, or the British buildings. You only have a Centaur from Guiza ready to respond, and we do have German infantry squads running amok on the right side of the map, along with a Vickers machine gun that was stolen from the British. So pretty much the Panther is going to push away the Centaur, and now also with the support of Panzerschrecks, going to be able to destroy the fuel cache as well. So the Allied resource lead is definitely in jeopardy right now, and there's really nothing right now over here that can stop the KB Flamethrower, but unfortunately there's nothing over here that can stop the Panther. Looks like the Panther has taken a little bit of damage from the Firefly though, so that was not exactly a very correct statement on my part, but Panther is going to be able to run away with its life. Now, we do have 3 Stukas ready to fire on the left side of the map, and the Soviet infantry squads will easily be able to just avoid that skillfully. Just dance around the buildings, avoiding the fire is what they want to be doing now. One big mistake the Fallschirmjäger that did is not going for anti-tank grenades right now. As you can see, he definitely needs to upgrade that to avoid any kind of German armor surprising him and leaving him without the ability to destroy the engine of it. Now, good job, but if it KB Flamethrower destroying a Raketenwerfer, that was a lot of manpower down the drain, and also a support gun being decrewed. Now, this building might go on fire, catch on fire, and pretty much collapse, which would be good for the Allies, as this building has been a pretty good defensive spot for the Germans. Unfortunately, it does look like it's going to live. Now, speaking of tech, looks like Turpentine, who has the Panther, has all 4 buildings, so he will be going later for, hopefully, a King Tiger. He does have the Scavenge Doctrine, so he should definitely be using some of that extra manpower that he's got on Jaeger Light Infantry. Now, Buban has Tier 4, and he does have 2 Obersoldaten, and he's also going for what? What is he going for? Is that a Panther? Yes, it is a Panther, which is definitely the correct choice. Fresh Scent could be going for a Command Panther, or a King Tiger. Both would be a good idea right about now. The Stuka was definitely not a good decision for him. He needs the fuel to get out both the Command Panther and the King Tiger, and he also needs the pop cap for that. Now, the Stukas are leveling a lot of the buildings, but the buildings are just as beneficial to the Germans, in fact, maybe even more beneficial to the Germans than they are to the Allies, so that is not necessarily a good thing for the Germans in the long run. Now, Panther is going to easily be able to push back the Centaur, along with pretty much the KB Flamethrower on the left side, pushing back the German infantry. Now, the Germans definitely need to bring out the pressure on the Allied PvP situation, because it is still much into the favor of the Allies. Now, we do have the 3 Su-76s supporting the Centaur in the push in the center, which is going to be really good for the Allies, as this Panther is going to be forced to run away as soon as possible. Blitz being popped, and just barely going to be able to run away. Now, Fresh Scent calling the Command Panther on the field is... I'm not sure if that's the correct decision. I should have waited. I would have waited for the King Tiger if I was him. Now, they call me Trinity. With 3 Stukas, he's only now going for Tier 4. So right now the Germans will be very low on heavy tanks. They will be in a pretty good spot for medium tanks, but the Allies are actually quite ahead on heavies and also on tank destroyers. So they might be able to just outfight the German armor. Now, one good thing that the Allies are doing is the fact that they're playing a lot in terms of playing really well in terms of coordination. I can see that the Su-76 is working along with the Centaurs, and T-70 is really good, but also the fact that right now this Panther is in a very good spot to flank all these Su-76s does not bode too well for the Allies. We do also have artillery cover being popped by Guiza, and we do also have a nice... what is that? Smoke cover? What is that smoke? Well, all the Su-76 is going down, and no anti-tank grenades from the Soviet infantry, because there's no Soviet infantry. Why are there 5 snipers, Red Eye? Please tell me. Please! And why aren't you going for a Tier 4 instead of spamming Su-76s when you have the T-34-85 available? I don't understand this play out of him. I just don't. Now, we do have a Comet out from Guiza, which is definitely a good choice. I don't understand where that smoke came from, though. I honestly have no idea. It doesn't... Ooh! Excellent bundle grenade over here. Gammon bomb from the commandos. Going to take out a lot of German troops. Now, one thing that the Soviets have stopped doing, which they should be doing again, is planting demo charges. Of course, Red Eye doesn't really have the units to do that. He's only got 1 engineer. The Fallschirmjäger that could has 2. So you should definitely be using at least one of them to plant demo charges at this point, strategic point, and also at the VP, which would be really good in case the German blob comes back knocking. Now, we do have a Panther from Buban still roaming around the battlefield, really good for him. Now, one Stuka is in a bit of a pickle from the Comet, but he will be saved by the Panthers and the Panzerschrecks, which is going to be really good for the Germans. Now, the Comet almost running over all these Panzerschrecks is good for the British, or rather the Germans, because, well, you should definitely attempt to run those away, run those over as soon as possible. Now, this Panther, I'm not really sure what it's doing. It's going to get chased and Tulip rocketed in the ass by the Sherman Firefly. Excellent play by the Sherman Firefly. It's definitely been a very nice tank for the British to have. Definitely paying for itself. Now, the Command Panther is also making the same mistake of pushing up without any kind of support, which is definitely not the good choice for Panthers, as they aren't exactly the best anti-infantry vehicles, nor the best vehicles to use against tank destroyers, especially if these tank destroyers are supported by infantry. Now, the snipers are going to definitely spot the Panthers for the Comets and Su-76s, etc., etc. Now, we do also have the KB2 on the field from the Schwarzenegger that could. He's going to start to use some of his munitions for repair stations, which is the other good choice for him. One Comet going down from the Panthers' flank. Again, no AT grenades from the Schwarzenegger that could. Big mistake. You always get AT grenades as Soviets. You always get AT grenades in general. And now the KB2 is going to be able to pretty much easily destroy this Panther, making it out of control. And the Su-76 is going to steal the kill, which is really funny. Damn, again, if there was a demo charge over here, this would be pretty evil. Now, a Flame Hetzer is on the field from the Economy Trinity, who has 3 Stukas, and yet just feels the need to go for Feuersturm Doctrine and go for the Rocket Barrage and the Flame Hetzer. I'm not really sure about that. I'm definitely not too sure about that, which is code word for that is a terrible idea. Now, we do have the KB Flamethrower and the KB-8 approaching the left side. KB-8 and the KB-2 is going to be excellent against this blob. Now, Stuka going to be doing a little bit of damage against the... Yeah, I like that. I definitely like that. Now, the KB-2 is definitely really good also against the German armored vehicles, while the KB-8 is going to be easily able to protect it against the blobs. Of course, the KB-2 is no slouch against the blobs either, so it's going to be a really bad day for the German infantry on the left side. And right now, the Germans don't really have anything other than infantry on the left side. They do have some artillery, but that is not going to be enough to defeat the tanks that the Allies have. Now, we do have a triple cap going on from the Germans, but at this point, the left side is completely under the control of the Allies, and the Sniper Horde has managed to take over the right side along with a couple of Su-76s, which is definitely the correct play for Red Eye. The left side of the map is not too excellent for his play. It is much more defensive in nature, where the buildings will only kind of hamper down his unit's line of sight. Now, we do have the fact that the KB-2 is pushing up in the center without any kind of support. Now, the KB-2 is not being used correctly right now. The KB-2 is not an offensive vehicle, it's a defensive vehicle. You park it somewhere with its, let me click on it, firing positions ability, which is pretty much really good for hunkering down on an area, increasing the range of the KB-2, and also increasing the rate of fire excellently. Now, the downside is, of course, the fact that it cannot move, and it can also not see anything, because it reduces the line of sight of the KB-2 to 0. But if you have other units to support a KB-2, it's really good. And also, if you park it down in an area where there's repair stations, it's really good. Of course, the Stukas are really good against repair stations, so you need to be hiding the repair stations really good, in a nice secluded locations like over here. Also, we do have a King Tiger is on the field from Turpentine, which is really going to be good against what the Allies are bringing, but it's going to be countered by the KB-2 and also the the Firefly. Now you might be thinking the KB-2 counters the King Tiger. What? And yeah, that is true. The KB-2 is really good against the King Tiger because it does a lot of damage, and especially if it's on hold down mode, it can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time because of its rate of fire once it is hold down. Now, a Luke is on the field from Bubin, which it's not the best decision, especially with another Stuka. What is the fetish that these German players have with Stukas? We have, how many? 5? At least 5 Stukas. Well, maybe 4 because one got destroyed. No, 5 Stukas. That is ridiculous. You should not have this many Stukas. It's just not a unit that you want to have this many of. Like, the only artillery unit in the game you want to have 5 of is the Calliope right now, with the way the meta is. Now, we do have a couple of Comets going to be counter-attacking this King Tiger's push. We also have the Firefly with its Tulip rockets ready, but there's no munitions to use those Tulip rockets. Of course, we do also have the flank from a Su-76 Glob, and also the Comet's going to be easily able to destroy along with the artillery cover, damaging the reload speed of these vehicles. And the second Panther is also taking a lot of damage from the Firefly and the AT gun over here from the Fallschirmjäger that could. That was a really good counter push from the Allies. Excellent counterattack, going to be destroying all of the German armor strength and pretty much seal the deal for this game, I do think. Now, what could the Germans have done differently? Definitely less Stukas. I'm not really sure what they were thinking. Excellent usage of the KV, a flamethrower against these expensive infantry units and these veteran troops. That will definitely teach the Germans not to bring too much infantry against the KV-8, which is definitely not the best choice. Now, the Glorious KV-2 is going to be repairing at the base. Hasn't really been able to do too much in this game, but that was to be expected considering... Oh! Excellent running over from the KV-8. Gonna be dealing with all of the German infantry forces, and also... Ooh, the Panther. Yeah, it's over for this KV-8. 56 kills, rest in motherfucking pieces. Hero of the motherland, gonna be going down. Unfortunate. Now, what could the Germans have done differently in this game? Definitely less artillery, which is not something I say too much, considering how good artillery is, and how some people say that it's the god of war, and definitely it's the god of Company of Heroes, because it's really good in team games, it's really good in even 1v1s, even though it's less good in 1v1s than it's in team games. Of course, you don't want to be getting too many pieces of artillery that aren't too good when stacked, and the Stuka is definitely not a spammable artillery. You want 1 or 2 of them, but you don't want that many of them. Now, what else could have done differently? Definitely gone for more King Tigers earlier on. Maybe 2 would have been good, along with the 2 Command Panthers support. They should have had the 2 Special Operations players go for Command Panthers, and the 2 other players go for King Tigers. Maybe 1 going for Panzer IVs would have been good, and 1 going for Stukas would have been good, and then transitioning into King Tiger in both of these players. That would have definitely been a much more coordinated usage of their resources than what they ended up doing in the end, which was just a bit of a mumble-jumble of stuff. Of course, this is because of the fact that we're probably not an organized team, but still, it's nice to communicate even if you're not an organized team. Now, also another problem that they faced was map control, so perhaps a little bit better usage of their infantry. I noticed that they weren't pretty much ever taking cover anywhere. They didn't really use the buildings on the left side to their advantage. They didn't really use anything. They didn't build sandbags as their troops. They didn't build minesweepers for their engineers to avoid getting demo charged. They didn't pretty much make any kind of cutoff maneuvers against this area. They were pretty decent in countering the British emplacements with, in general, support guns and etc., but that wasn't too good of a payoff in the end, because they were able to counter the British emplacements, but then they weren't able to capitalize upon it by seizing these points, these vital points, this fuel point and this strategic point, which is the cutoff point for the left side of the map. If I can bring up the tactical map, as you can see, the left side of the map is completely cut off by this strategic point. So that should have been really good. Now, mistakes of the Allies. Definitely Red Eye. I have no idea what he's attempting to do. Everything he did is wrong, except getting Su-76s, which are really good. But at this point, he should have stopped getting Su-76s, and he should have gone for T-34-85s, definitely. And I have no idea what he's doing with snipers. That is completely a horrible decision on his part. Now, Fallschirmjäger that could definitely start to use his KV-2 better now than earlier. Really unlucky that he wasn't able to wipe out all these troops. Now, one big problem with him was the fact that he waited a little bit too long, in my opinion, to go for Tier 4. After the failure of his first T-70, he should have definitely not gone for a second one, and should have gone for a Katyusha instead with the extra resources. That would have helped him out against the blobs a little bit. Of course, he could have also gone for a quicker SU-85. The SU-85 is definitely a good choice to support the KV-2. So that was an excellent play. Now, he could have also used a little bit more of his munitions. He definitely used it well with the demo charges that he placed early game, but he didn't use Allied Supply Drop at all to help out his teammates with fuel, nor himself with fuel. Or what he could have also done is place down more repair stations back at base to help out his allies with repairs. Especially with the Comets, it would have been a pretty good help to his allies. Now, Apple Company, definitely too much floating. Also the Germans, especially Fresh Suns and Call Me Trinity, and Turpentine had a lot of floating. Apple Company had a huge amount of floating throughout the game, so I'm not really sure how much experience he's got, but he should definitely work on that. Almost running them over. Ah, that is unfortunate. Definitely also the doctrine selection, not too great. I'm not too much of a fan of this doctrine because I think the Infiltration Commandos suck dick. Just in no half terms, they just suck. And the Land Mattress is the only redeeming factor of the doctrine, along with perhaps the M2 Flamethrower. It can be useful. But yeah, he didn't really use the Land Mattress at all, so in my view, it was a complete waste to go for this doctrine. Only 13 kills. You don't pick a doctrine to get 13 kills on one unit. And again, Infiltration Commandos are horseshit, so yeah. If you want commandos, you go for fucking, whatchamacallit, advanced operations, special operations, whatever the fuck. I forgot the name of the doctrine actually. The one with the advanced glider, logistics glider, and the air landing officer. You go that one and you build commandos out of the glider, or you just go commando doctrine and use the balance bombs airstrike. Now, Guiza definitely using the artillery cover correctly throughout the entire game, and also using comets well. Going for a Centaur as he did very late into the game was a big mistake on his part, but other than that, he played fairly well. He did lose a lot of his troops, and so perhaps better unit preservation on his part would have been good. Now, yeah, pretty much. That was actually a funny play. If you haven't seen what's happened here, essentially there was a mine over here, and the Comet, by attempting to run over all the German infantry, ran over the mine and wiped out half of the blob that was over here, and then the other half of the blob was wiped out by the Su-76's barrage. So that was good. Who's left on the Allied side? Yeah, pretty much no one. So, yeah, going a little bit more in-depth on the German side, Bubenator, or whatever the fuck his name is, not going for a command panther was a mistake. He didn't really use his tree all that much. He went for one Obersoldaten squad with SDGs and then didn't do anything else. Then he used his artillery flares to spot for the enemy, nor just in general didn't use his munitions all that much. Turpentine didn't use anything out of the doctrine, so that was a big mistake. Fresh Scent, he did get a couple of command panthers, but he shouldn't have gone for the Stuka at all. There were already too many Stukas. He should have gone for perhaps a King Tiger first. And then the Call Me Trinity, bad commander selection, and also bad. In case you haven't noticed, I just went for 3 times as many bads, because there's 3 Stukas, so there's 3 times as many bads, because each of these Stukas is a crime 3 times greater than the other. Of course, in total they got 16, 20, 23. No, yeah, 23 kills. That is pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic. For 3 Stukas, that is 300 fuel that could have gotten into a King Tiger. Now, where's the snipers? Okay, so 5 snipers is 1,000. That is like 1,800 manpower. And you got how many kills? 27, 34, 36. 36 kills, and you lost one of Sniper Squad 2. You did. You lost one Sniper Squad. You did. No, you lost 4! Holy shit, dude. Okay, I retract my words. This is worse than the Stukas, actually. You never, ever ever do this, okay? This actually pisses me off. You don't do this. You are a bad teammate because you are forcing all of your teammates to essentially build more infantry to account for the missing capping power, the missing presence that you're having. Because yeah, sure, I have my cool 5 snipers, but you have no map control ability except for your 1 engineer squad, which, to be fair, you did plant demo charges a few times, but you have zero map control. You have pretty much 0 pushing power as well. You just have a little bit of harassment. So and you have 0 holding power as well because you have no support weapons, and you have 0 anti-tank power. Why would you go for this strategy except to piss someone off? That is literally the only reason I could imagine you going for this strategy. It does piss the enemy off, I will agree. But it is better against Wehrmacht. Why? Because Wehrmacht have snipers of their own that they're going to try to use to counter your snipers, so you can counter-snipe them with your 2-man squads. And because Wehrmacht have 4-man squads for Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers, that means that wipes in one go are easier. But against OKW, this is not a good idea. This is simply a terrible decision. Okay, I'm sorry, that pissed me off so much. I hope you enjoyed this cast, I hope you learned something from it, and I'll see you soon.